lounging, son.
Welcome back to another episode of the Comic Lounge Podcast, guys. I am your host, the mighty weird Dilbot, and with me, as always, the homie Ryan.
I got strange ass Ryan.
Strange ass Ryan.
Yeah.
Strange ass Ryan. Way the weird.
Weird.
Today, if you didn't already know, we're talking about Doctor Strange by Jason Aaron and Chris Bachalo with a plethora of inkers, and VC's Corey Pettit on inks. Way of the Weird, Vol.1. This is one of those Jason Aaron stories that I totally forgot that existed. Right?
It's a great run.
It's a fantastic run. I never read it. It was actually my first time reading it.
So, okay. This is my second.
Yeah. So I mean, and Chris Bachalo. I've always been a fan of Chris Bachalo's art. Chris Bachalo, he has this sort of like, graffiti street style that I've always liked. He's also did the Wu Massacre art for Method Man, Raekwon, and Ghostface Killah. So
I love that album art. I fucking love that album. Is worth it alone just for the fucking art.
I have the vinyl. And it comes with prints of each different cover.
Yeah, you did tell me that. Yeah, it's really dope.
So
I love the evolution of Chris Bachalo too. Real quick, I just want to say, like if you look at his stuff from like early Vertigo when he was doing stuff over there, like Death, Way of the Living. You know what I mean? Like that style is like completely different from what we get now. But I love both. Sometimes it's even hard for me to choose. I'm like, I can't decide which style do I like the best. But this one definitely, I dig. You know what I mean? Like when this book was announced, Jason Aaron and Chris Bachalo on Doctor Strange, I was like, sign me the fuck up, dude. You know what I mean? I added it to my poll so quick. Jason Aaron is one of those writers where I will always pick up a number one by him. I won't ever not pick up a new book, even if it's a character that I may not be that into. Which Doctor Strange was
at the time.
I
wasn't that into.
Yeah, I wasn't that high on Doctor Strange. I will say though that Brian K. Vaughan is who made me a Doctor Strange fan. Him and Marcos Martin did a really dope book called Doctor Strange: The Oath, and it's phenomenal. Really great story, and like that. But then there wasn't really anything from then until Jason Aaron. I don't think he had an ongoing. Maybe he had some miniseries. I'm not sure. I didn't really ever pay attention. But the movie definitely made me a bigger fan of the character. This run made me like. I'll read all the Doctor Strange from now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I really like Doctor Strange now, mostly because after the movie. But I really like what Donny Cates did with him and Damnation.
I didn't
really
read that.
Liked. It was pretty good. What I really like here, what Jason Aaron and Chris Bachalo executed, a day in the life, right? That's essentially what these first 5 issues are about. A day in the life of Doctor Strange and how absolutely, really, legitimately weird it is, right? He goes on to explain why the Sanctum Sanctorum is the way it is, how it's sitting on top of ley lines, which used to be an old Indian ritual ground, which used to be an old police cemetery, and then how each room can literally kill you, how you can't open his refrigerator because it'll bring forth the apocalypse. How because of the magic he uses, he literally can't eat New York style pizza anymore. He has to eat tentacles.
Yeah. Well,
he goes on to explain like just how absolutely weird everything is. But the underlying thing is magic has a cost, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like a Full Metal Alchemist. Like, you always need something to create something, and magic has a cost. You always have to pay magic back, right? Mm-hmm. And we learn that Doctor Strange, that Stephen hasn't been doing that, and it's time to pay up, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's time to pay up.
It's interesting when we learn how, that part was crazy. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, that part was insane.
But I really love the opening. The first page, we have panels, right? From throughout the history of Doctor Strange's comics, which I thought was really dope. You know what I mean? Like we have the Ditko art, which anybody that knows, like Steve Ditko was a co-creator along with Stan Lee for Doctor Strange. We have some panels even from that book I mentioned, Doctor Strange: The Oath. I think there's some stuff in here maybe from the 90s. I'm not entirely sure because I don't know. There's like top left corner. You know, this Doctor Strange also doesn't have the white in his hair. Like I don't know how that got taken out of the aspect. Like I think they tried to make him not look as old as he had previously looked, because he did. It made him look old, you know.
Yeah.
But the fucking creatures that does, like, Bachalo is going all out, dude. He is creating some of the craziest fucking panels, pages, double page spreads that I think I've ever seen in a comic book. You know, it's just like you could pour over these pages for like forever, dude. Like there's so much going on. Watching like the strange kind of what I like read it as strange vision, right? Like what he sees that we don't see. Like he's seeing all this weird shit in the air, and I like that because like the way it's depicted is everything's in black and white except Doctor Strange and whatever fucking weird magical creatures are kind of in there. And he talks about like the bacteria, right? Like how you don't even realize that there's little bacteria on your fucking body eating the dead skin off of you. Like, you know, like that's weird as fuck. But like it totally
it's a little unnerving, right?
Yeah, and Jason Aaron really leans so heavy into the weird, right? Like he leans into that aspect of like Doctor Strange, and it's in his name, strange, dude. Like there's some strange shit, some weird shit that takes place, and it's just, it really is. And I like that it's separate from like the main Marvel, right? Like this entire fucking, pretty sure this entire book, with the exception of when they go to that bar and you get like. You know, you have Wanda,
Scarlet Witch, Magic,
Dr. Voodoo. So you get a little bit of like the Marvel people, but for the most part, it's just Doctor Strange, and like he's fighting against the Empirical, who are trying to kill magic, essentially, right?
They seem like religious heretics. You know, with the Empirical coming, he kind of learns about it through a series of things that's going on in the magic world. So what's going on in the beginning of the comic, beginning of the series, how like, you know, the demons and monsters he's fighting, they're running away from something, right? And then, you know, that's the first inkling, and he's kind of like, oh, this is kind of weird. Then he encounters a girl, Zelma Thornton, who has shit coming out of her head. And let me tell you, that is the most unsettling, unnerving thing I've ever seen. Like mouths coming out of the top of her head. Bachalo, you sick genius. Let me tell you, I used to have, it really brought back some weird feelings. It was very unsettling because I had like a cut on the top of my head for like the longest time, and there was a scab on there. And like, you know, this is when I was younger, so I kept picking at it. So it always felt like there was something on the top of my head. And then when I saw that the mouths on top of that girl's head, I was like, oh my God, I feel like that's what it felt like. There was something growing out of the top of my head that I couldn't see. And Bachalo just is the pure nightmare fuel.
I mean, dude, this whole book, like, and I think that's like, this is the most like that I've really gotten into like what Doctor Strange. I mean, I want to read older stuff. Obviously, some of that stuff is like harder to read when it feels dated, but like you really get into like what Doctor Strange deals with, and like you said, it's a day in the life. Like this is all one day that all this shit is happening to him, and like what he's dealing with, the demons and fucking. I like that. This is the perfect book to give somebody that's never read Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Yes. Because, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? Like
100%.
You don't need to fucking read anything else. Like Aaron gives you everything. He fucking takes you to the Sanctum Sanctorum. You meet Wong. You meet Doctor Strange. He fucking tells you, explains to you kind of what he does on a daily basis as the Sorcerer Supreme and what that entails and how he protects the world from all sorts of shit. And this dude gets called out. You know what I mean? He gets called out in this book that like, you keep doing this shit, you have to pay the price, and you're not. You know what I mean? And like I'm taking it out of context, but basically, you're the goddamn Sorcerer Supreme. Start acting like it. You know what I mean? Like I loved that he got called out when he goes to the bar and he sits with that collection of like mages and fucking, you know, magical fucking characters, and I love Wong. I love how she calls it the housekeeper, and he's like, I wear many names, and he just starts listing fucking martial arts trainer, fucking all this stuff, cook, housekeeper. Like, I mean, Wong is a badass character, and
Wong is badass.
We really see what he's willing to do to fucking protect Doctor Strange, right? And to kind of, I don't want to say serve. I feel like that's
preserve.
I don't want to, like, he doesn't serve Doctor Strange. To me, I feel like he should be treated as an equal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
it's kind of like Alfred, right? It's kind of like Alfred. How, yes, Alfred's the butler, like by title, but he's more than that, right?
Exactly. That's how I think Wong should be depicted. And I feel like that Jason does that in this book. But Zelma becomes like a major character in Doctor Strange's life. She works with him at the fucking Strange Academy that's currently going on in Marvel.
Yeah. I totally totally Zelma.
So I like it. You know, I've read this entire run, so I'm trying not to like make sure I mix anything up. But you know, like the relationship between Steven and Zelma, I love where it goes and the dynamic between them. You know, like she's a fucking librarian too. So like the way she kind of like acclimates herself into his world moving forward, like it makes sense, you know, like it's, I don't know. It's just, it's interesting to have her be like kind of, we as the reader, right? Like she's our fucking like viewpoint. We're basically kind of like her as she's just entering this world, which is why I say that this is such a great jumping on point into the world of Doctor Strange and the character. And I don't know. I really
they don't bombard you with too much of a history, which I mean, they like, you know, like you said, Jason gives you everything you need, but doesn't give you anything unnecessary. Everything. This is something that I really like about Jason Aaron's work. It's like whatever he gives you, it all serves a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It all serves a purpose. There's nothing wasted about the information he gives you. He doesn't like, you know, use anything to make the character seem more than he is without it having come to play later on. Right. Yeah. And, you know, the simple fact that he kind of makes the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme like kind of suck. Right? Kind of sucks. Like you have to deal with this shit all essentially by yourself because you're the Sorcerer Supreme. You're the one who has to deal with this stuff. You're the one who's anointed to deal with this stuff, and there's nothing else that no one can do to help you. And Wong tries his best, but it's like, and you know, you have all these magic users. You literally have magic. You literally have Scarlet Witch. You have Dr. Voodoo, who have an inkling, but they don't know the full responsibilities. And what I like here is that you actually get to see the full responsibilities of it. You see the importance of why the Sanctum Sanctorum is there. It's not just like it's not just like a house of horrors. It's like literally the barrier between worlds, right? For anything spilling into this world. And you see the importance of Sorcerer Supreme. It's not like, oh, you're just the most powerful magic user on the planet. Like, no, you have a responsibility, and this is your responsibility. No, this is your responsibility, and this is your responsibility, and this is what you have to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean this ends too fucking like. This is I didn't realize the first arc ended like that. Yeah. One of the biggest cliffhangers.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you're gonna continue reading. Like
100%.
I was gonna continue reading last night, but I'm like, fuck, I don't want to. When I do that, when I go further past what we talk about, sometimes I end up.
You overlap.
Yeah, I overlap, so I didn't want to do it. But this is insane. This is like, I think it's called The Last Days of Magic is the next arc, right? So
yeah.
And if you notice too, that first cover, he's got a goddamn axe in his hand. Now, why the hell would Doctor Strange need an axe? You know, like, and that kind of plays into like what we will see moving forward in the story. But I also like how he kind of, you know, he talks about I think it's like first issue or something, how the nerves never fully healed in his hands, so his hands are always shaking. But he says, but when I'm casting a spell, watch how steady those hands are. Like that's
what I like is it's like that's why my handwriting is horrendous, even for a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit. Well, all right, I believe you.
Yeah. No, but I think that this is it's just
it's the
full
perfect jumping on point for anybody, any kind of Doctor Strange fan, because it, like you said, it's separate. It's separate away from the Marvel universe, so it doesn't really involve too many other superheroes that kind of like interfere. There's no real, well, for this story arc anyway. There's no real like crossover event that like overlaps into it that deviates the story unnecessarily, right? And like this is why this is the things that I miss. Like Marvel is starting to get back into that. How they're kind of doing Daredevil, how they're doing Immortal Hulk, how Moon Knight is kind of like leading towards that kind of trajectory. Black Widow is definitely hitting that trajectory, right? And I'm glad that they're doing it. Same thing with Shang-Chi, right? Like all these series now, they're not like in X-Men. Let's not talk about X-Men because it's this whole Hickman brainchild that needs to be told that way. But like all these other stories, all these things that are all kind of like self-contained and going in their own trajectory away from big events, away from large crises. Like this is what's making Marvel fantastic. Like this is my only gripe with DC is that everything is kind of like leading towards these crises events, which I'm okay with. That's fine, but we don't always need a crisis every 2 years.
No, dude. I mean, look, I like events too.
Yeah,
I do. I don't like all the fucking spin-offs and the tie-ins of the events, but I am a fan of events for the most part. I just don't think that they should be done as frequently as they're done. Because then it kind of takes away from the fact of it's not an event if I can expect one a month after the last one just ended. Right. You said Daredevil's not really doing it, but they are with Devil's Reign. Like that is going to be an event, right? Like with Kingpin and stuff, and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four. Like they say that it's going to overlap with the main Marvel universe with whatever Kingpin's doing, but that's besides the point. Anyways, but this Doctor Strange, like that is what I like about the whole 20-issue run, is that you can read it as just one story and it's done. I know that after Aaron left, that's when we got. I think that's when Donny Cates did his run with Damnation, and then eventually we got the Mark Waid stuff, and I think it was Surgeon Supreme or something like they called it like that. Or he was like in space, and then he came back from space. Like I didn't
Sorcerer's Supreme.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I didn't read all of Mark Waid's. I read the first trade. It was good. I like Jason Aaron's best, though. I think that his coupled with the story and the art, it's one of my favorite Marvel little mini runs of the past few years. Like I wish it would have gone longer, but I'm still like I'm happy when Jason when he does these like little mini runs with characters. Like he did a little Hulk, right? He didn't do a large Hulk run, but he did it. Ghost Rider.
He did a little Ghost Rider. That was good. Like I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Yeah, so I like when I don't always want a 50-issue run, but like a good chunk is cool. Maybe 3 or 4 volumes, something that you can really kind of get attached to and let a writer kind of tell. It's basically like them doing original graphic novel or doing, like Tom King does. Like I like those. I like when you get like a 12-issue story. 20-issue story is pretty cool. I mean, I think we rarely get a 50-issue run with creators anymore, right? Like Immortal Hulk is the exception.
Immortal Hulk needed to be 50.
Yeah, I mean that's Jesus. That story is like insanity. Now I think that we're gonna get 50 with Zdarsky's Daredevil too. And then I guess like Spider-Man we get. I don't. It's hard for me to consider those runs because there's so many different artists that come in, so it's like it doesn't feel like a run to me. But this Jason Aaron story and his whole run, the 20 issues with the one shot, just it feels like a complete story. And it's I think it's like the perfect like book for fans of the MCU to come in as maybe non-comic readers and check out. But it's not copying. You know what I mean? Like I like that. It's not trying to emulate the MCU at all, because this is nothing like Benedict Cumberbatch's interpretation of the character at all. Like nothing. Like I even tried to read it with his voice and it just didn't feel right. Like I was
No.
trying to read it with it, and I'm like, it doesn't.
This
fit.
is different.
Like, this is somebody else. You know what I mean? Like this is a different Doctor Strange, and I don't know. I really dig this, dude. I'm telling you. Like I can't wait to hear your thoughts when you finish the entire run because it's
you'll definitely hear it. We should do like a recap episode of like everything that I've read because I'm catching up on so much right now.
Yeah.
I'm catching up on so much right now. I mean,
you're on your PTO, right? So sitting at home reading. Yeah, that's not.
So yeah, like I read Invisible Kingdom. I read Gideon Falls Volume 2. I caught up with Once and Future. I reread Mr. Miracle.
You're killing it right now.
Oh, I'm smashing it. Like before my PTO started, I was 9 books behind on my Goodreads goal. I'm like 6 books behind now. So like
I smashed my goal already.
I know you did. You're freaking insanity.
I know.
But
just read fast.
But this is definitely one that I'm going to continue with. Bachalo's art alone, his panel structure alone, and the story, Jason Aaron's storytelling is like, I have to read it.
Yeah, and I feel like nobody talks about this.
No one does. Like, I kind of like stumbled upon it because like on Hoopla, there's like, books you can read without, taking away your borrow credits because you get like 7 borrows a month.
Oh, I've never read on Hoopla. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So you get like 7 borrows a month. And read one of these, and it doesn't take away from your borrow credits. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, then I started reading. I'm like, holy crap! Like this is amazing. Like no one talks about this. Like everybody loves Jason Aaron, but how come this is like one of the I remember hearing about this, but no one. I don't remember hearing anything after it. But this is like easily one of the most fun runs I've read in a long time. It's fun.
And this is a perfect example of Marvel not keeping stuff in print.
Yeah.
So it's like. It's harder to fucking get some of this stuff. Now, I guess stuff like Hoopla is out there, Comixology is out there, Marvel Unlimited is out there, so you can read it that way. But for me at a shop, if I'm working at a comic book shop and I want to recommend it to somebody, I'm not going to be like, go check it out on Comixology. You know what I mean? Like that just it hurts the shops. It hurts local comic book shops, and I think that. This is a book that should stay in print. And I guess now, we already talked about, they're creating an omnibus for it, which is going to have the entire run. And that's cool. I'm glad they're doing it. And it feels like they're kind of timing it around the release of...
Multiverse of Madness?
No Way Home.
Oh, No Way... Oh.
Because Doctor Strange will be in that. And, I feel like it's... I hope they come up with another Doctor Strange book. I know we have Death of Doctor Strange with Jed McKay, but
have you seen some of the covers for that? Some of the covers for that look awesome.
Yeah, you know what? It's Corey Andrews.
Yeah, no. Also the Mike Del Mundo cover with Miles on it. The levitate. He's wearing a Kendrick Lamar sweater.
What? I didn't see that.
Miles Morales wearing a Kendrick Lamar sweater.
Oh, is it one of those Miles Morales 10th anniversary covers?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the one? We're going off topic, but did you see the one for Iron Man where he's on turntables? On
turntables. Yeah, I already put my.
I ordered that. Yeah. The minute I saw that,
no, dude, you gotta get the Mike Del Mundo one too because it's like Doctor Strange is meditating and then above him is Miles and he's wearing a Kendrick Lamar sweater. Like it literally says levitate. It's so tight.
Yeah, but Doctor Strange. I think he's one of the coolest characters in the Marvel Comics history. I think that while maybe there's not as many great runs that you could like necessarily point to or like stories that you could point to, this is at the top of my list to recommend.
Yeah. And
then it would be Doctor Strange: The Oath. I want to check out the Donny Cates stuff. I haven't read that. The Mark Waid stuff is pretty good too. Not my favorite, but it's good. And, I'm excited for the Death of Doctor Strange, even though they're quote-unquote killing him. But I'm sure that he'll be back before no time. And I hope we get a new ongoing. I think that, we were talking about it when we were talking about Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
That they gave him an ongoing, coming up for the movie. I can't wait to see what they do with the character moving forward. I know Strange Academy, I feel like it's on a little bit of a break. Issue 12 just happened. And then, issue 13 is, I think, not coming out to for 2 months or something like that. But I think he's just such a great character, and there's so much you could build out with the magical side of.
I feel like when it comes to magic and all the interdimensional multiversal stuff like that Doctor Strange deal with, you can literally give him anything. Like you can throw whatever you want at him. Like you can just make up some of the most obscenely ridiculous characters to face him or to team up with him that it makes total sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a fucking badass character, and they've made him way more interesting to read about over the last few years than I think he ever was before. And it probably, that if that's because of the movie and the popularity of the movie kind of helped elevate him a little bit more. Cool. Because it's not like they tried to copy the movie. I think that with Iron Man, they kind of did for a little bit. I feel like they tried to emulate Robert Downey Jr., and I get it. I kind of get it. I don't necessarily like it, but they did make him a more interesting character. I would say with Fraction's run, which kind of took place, I feel like it was right around the same time that Iron Man 1, the first one dropped.
Matt Fraction.
But yeah, Fraction just made him a fucking really good character, and he has been for the better part of over the past 10 years. You know what I mean? So I think if Doctor Strange can reach that level of popularity too, that there's a lot of potential for some really great stories. You just got to get some really good creators, and they did with this one. Jason Aaron and Chris Bachalo did a fantastic job from beginning to end, from issue 1 to issue 20. It's fucking dope, and I don't really have anything else to elaborate on.
Go read it. Go read it. Go support more books. Get ready for Doctor Strange, the Death of Doctor Strange. Get that Iron Man. Get that.
Get both. Get the Iron Man cover and get the Death of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, the Doctor Strange cover, and go see the movies. There's something that pissed me off. So there was this kid on Twitter, and he was like, "Oh, because someone was hyping up Shang-Chi, right? And this is before they announced that Shang-Chi is poised to break a Labor Day record. It was like, oh, you guys are really reaching for this movie, trying to make it so hyped that it breaks records. Like we all know money talks, so da 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 da." And then the guy responds with a headline from I forget what, from Entertainment Weekly or something, and he's like, Shang-Chi set to break freaking records by hitting 80 million in their first opening weekend. And the guy was like, well, whatever. Western comics is dead because all the best-selling graphic novels were all manga. And I'm like, and I'm just sitting here like, well, it's the best-selling because you know how hard it is to get manga right now? So whenever anyone restocks, of course they sell out.
Yeah. We've been out for months.
Yeah,
whatever. People are fucking idiots.
And then I brought up the point where it's like you're basing it on sales of graphic novels when in all actuality comics outsell manga by millions because of the simple fact that it's readily available. It comes out on a weekly basis, and it isn't And then he's just like, yeah, well, whatever. No, there's no hype for Shang-Chi. There's no hype for Shang-Chi because it got pushed back because of a pandemic, you idiot. But Shang-Chi, go see it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm still gonna go see it.
Neither have I.
I heard it's fucking magical. So
yeah, probably by the time this posts, we will have seen it because we're recording 2 days after this fucking movie came out. But this is probably gonna be but it'll be a minute before this post. But yeah, go support fucking books like this, Doctor Strange. Support the stuff Jed McKay, like we talked about when we talked about Moon Knight. He's doing Death of Doctor Strange. He's definitely being elevated to, one of Marvel's go-to writers, and he's killing it with everything he's doing. So pick up that book as well when it comes out. And if you're not already following us, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at The Comic Lounge. Follow Dylan at the Dillbot on Instagram. Dillbot is dope on Twitter. Like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid goes up. TeePublic link is down below. And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.